because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Let's look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. But untying. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Emerge movement. I'm your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I am happy that you've decided to join us in this place and space where we are empowering you with all the tools that you need to be able to curate and create the kind of life that you want along your journey to spiritual wholeness. You're in the right place at the right time. We're having some great conversation that I know that it will empower you, impact you, and it will revive your desire to really go after life and to see things from a clearer perspective. I'm really glad and excited about being able to share with you tonight. Tonight's going to be good. I'm telling you, the conversation is going to be off the chain. Now, y'all let me know if there's any problem with the sound at all, just in case, because I don't want to make sure I did like I did once before and was just carrying on and you couldn't even hear what I was saying. Can y'all hear me clearly? Y'all hear me very clearly? Say something in the comments for me if you do. Thank you for those of you who are on. Please take a moment. Thank you. Good. Thank you, Toya. She says, sounds good. Please take a moment while you are on and do me this one favor. Tag as many people as you can in this video so that they're able to jump over and join us in this live conversation. Tag them. If you are on Facebook, you can tag them in the comments. If you are on YouTube, you cannot tag anyone, but you can share the video. And those of you on Facebook as well, hit the share button and share it on your page. Those of you watching on YouTube, then you can just hit the share button and copy the link there, send it out in your group text and to all your family members. Tell everybody to come on over and be a part of this great conscious conversation that we're having on this side. And if you're on YouTube as well as on Facebook, on all the platforms, make sure you hit that like button on the Facebook page. It's the heart button or the love button, but hit it as often as you can to help to build the algorithm so that others will be alerted to us being here and we can begin to get more airtime, more playtime, and more people will come over and be a part of the conversation. We're trying to grow and expand this platform as best we can. So I need your help to help me to do that by participating in liking, sharing, tagging, and then also make sure that you are participating by being here as well in the conversation. All right, so we have been speaking about some uncomfortable truths. There are some uncomfortable truths that we need to face, we need to come to terms with, we need to embrace, come to grips with, if we're going to navigate this three-dimensional experience that we call life, and we're going to do it successfully. And we have been looking at a number of these uncomfortable truths. It's the uncomfortable things, the things that are unpopular, the things that challenge us, that require something of us often, that are the truths that we most often try and avoid, or we convince ourselves of a lie or of a delusion because we think the truth is just too much of a challenge, too painful to deal with. But on this platform and during the course of these teachings, now it's been 3, tonight is part 4, we have been bringing those truths to the forefront so that we can confront them, deal with them, face them, and then rise above them and move forward. So tonight we're going to continue that conversation. Then we've covered, I think, about 14 of these. So there's probably about another 6 or 7 more that are left, and I'm gonna try and get through as many of them as I possibly can tonight. On Thursday night, we really only got through one, but that we're not gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna try my best not to get bogged down, and we're gonna try and get through as many of them as we possibly can. All right, so let's do a quick review. And then we'll get to the one that we're going to discuss tonight.
All right. Number one is that no one is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you because you don't need saving. You don't need saving. Okay. Number two, we have all the time we need. We have all the time we need. We just have to learn to be better managers of our time and be very intentional about to what and who we give our times to. Prioritize. Number three is that the only place your version of you exists is in your mind. Every person you encounter has a different narrative, a different version about you in their own mind. They create a version of you, a narrative about you within their own mind. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to live in alignment and stay true to the version of you that exists within your own mind. Number four is that life is not fair. It's not unfair either. Life is exactly what you determine it to be. You get from life what you are willing to give to life. You create the life that you desire. You are the God of your garden. And so nothing can live or grow or exist in your garden unless you allow it to be there. Number five, taking no risk is the biggest risk. You cannot go through this three-dimensional lived experience, this thing that we call life, being completely risk averse. If you do, then you really haven't lived. You're just merely existing. That you've got to be willing to take a risk, to step into the unknown, to walk by faith and not by sight. Number six, quitting is always an option, and sometimes it's the best option. There are some things that you need to quit, that when they become toxic, when they become dysfunctional to the place where they cause you harm, that they cause you more pain than they do pleasure, then it may be time to separate yourself from it, to move away from that particular thing. Number seven, happiness is where you are now, or it's nowhere at all. That happiness is not something external that you are working to achieve. When I get the job, when I get the house, when I get the money, then I'll be happy. No, if you cannot be happy with right where you are in the eternal moment of now, then you will never achieve happiness, because happiness has to be where you are. You bring the happy. Number eight, you need to call yourself out. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself responsible. You become self-governed so that you don't necessarily need someone else to call you out or to point out your faults or issues or whatever it is that you might be dealing with. Number nine, closure is your choice. Closure is your choice. It is not an absolute necessity. No one has to give you closure. No one has to provide you closure. Closure takes place when you decide to forgive, let go, and move forward. Okay, number 10, it is not your job to fix anyone. You are not the enabler. You are not the codependent. You are not the contractor or the constructor for anybody else's life. Whatever their issues are, whatever their problems are, you can be a sounding board, you can be a counselor, an advisor, but it is not your job to fix anybody. Everybody is responsible for themselves. Number 11, love is not a feeling. It's a choice. Love is not a feeling. It is a choice. We decide, we choose to love. Love can produce a feeling, but it is not a feeling. Love is the very essence of who we are, because it is the essence of who God is. And since we are one with God, we are one with love, and we are love animated in three-dimensional form. So it is a decision, a choice that we make to love. That tied in with trust is not earned, but it is given. That's number 12. It's not that we have to earn it. You have to go and fight for it. No, you make a conscious decision whether you're going to give your trust to someone or not. No matter what they do or how they act or how good or how much they try and please you, if you have decided not to trust them, then that is your choice. Okay? It is not earned. Trust is given. Here is number 13, where we're going to pick up on tonight. Most people don't know you and couldn't care less about you. Let me repeat that again. Most people in this gigantic planet that we exist on, with over 10 billion people, don't even know you and couldn't care less about you because they don't even know you exist. Now, why is this such an important truth? Why is this such an important and uncomfortable truth? Because the fact is that many people, and I would venture to guess that many of you that are on this live right now, spend your time, effort, and energy and worrying or concerned or trying to align with what you think people will think about you. Lord have mercy. When most people don't even know you and could care less about what you do or do not do. You are working and efforting, basing your decisions and choices, your lived experiences in the earth based on what you have created a narrative within your own mind about what others might think if you do this, if you do that, if you don't do this, or you don't do that, if you go here, or you go there, or you don't go here, or you don't go there. And so what follows is you're saying, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I don't want anybody to think, or I'm going to go ahead and go here because I don't want anyone to think. Well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want anyone to think. Well, I'm not going to say this because I don't want anyone to think. Well, let me just go ahead and do it because I don't want anyone to think. Come on. And I know already that there are many of you that are right now have put up that wall of defense right now saying, oh, no, not me. I don't care what nobody thinks. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Take a moment of reflection, look inward, and be honest with yourself and ask yourself, how many choices and decisions have you made in your life that you were either you exercised restraint or abstinence, or you did something that you really did not really want to do, but you were more concerned with how it would be perceived, how it would be thought of, what others might say or think or feel if you didn't do X, Y, Z, or you did do X, Y, Z, or you didn't say, or you did say. And so you were constrained and constricted, and you tailored your behavior so that you would be perceived in a light, at least you hope that you'll be perceived in a light that is favorable, because you don't want to give anyone ammunition to create a narrative about you in their head. Here's a news flash. They do it anyway. There are some people who are you cannot control the narrative about you that goes on in someone else's head, nor should you be concerned about the narrative that goes on in someone else's head about you. Nor should you be concerned about it. Let me say it again. That is not your concern. You're not the author. You're not the writer of that script. They are the ones who are writing the script. You don't get to control how people perceive you. You don't get to control in what light they see you. You can try and manipulate that light, manipulate the story by putting forth a false front, but then you are not living in your authentic truth. You are now trying to incorporate what you think is someone else's truth and you think is someone else's narrative into your actions in the hopes that they might perceive you in a certain light. Y'all not hearing me. Come on. I see comments popping up already. Let me jump over here real quick. Let's see. Yes, sir. You hit that one right on the head. No. I used to be very self-conscious, trying to appear, speak, walk, talk in a way that I thought would make everyone around me comfortable. You're not alone, Bridget. You are not alone. You are not alone. I promise you, so many people live under that same cloud, that same shadow. And I'm going to tell you who has it the worst. Well, let me just hold on. Let me finish the comments. Then I'll get to who has it the worst. Okay. Still working on it, especially when it comes to family. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that can be difficult. I think I have based the majority of my life off of what someone thought about me and still refrain now. Thank you. Listen to this. Listen. I appreciate your transparency and your honesty. Toya, the truth of the matter is that many people do the exact same thing. Okay, let me tell you who's worst about it. Religious people. Religion almost demands that you be a liar. I call it institutionalized hypocrisy. Because the hypocrite is not the person who might go out and get high and drink and smoke and sleep around and come to church. It's the person who goes out and drinks and gets high and smokes and sleeps around and comes to church and says, oh, I don't do any of those things. When you see me coming, I got Jesus on my mind. I thank the Lord that I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and that night with a mighty burning fire that the Lord is keeping. I've been saved all day and I'm glad Jesus has been my keeper. Lord have mercy. Because the church is the place where you are not given the opportunity to be authentic and be honest. They require you to lie. Now, nobody's going to come out and use that terminology, but they basically create an atmosphere, a climate, a culture that if you were to come in and be honest and be authentic and be truthful about who you are, they would immediately say, well, you're not saved. Because if you had the Holy Ghost, you wouldn't do that. And if you were saved, you wouldn't do that. And if you really knew God, then you wouldn't act like this and you wouldn't behave like that and you wouldn't say this, that, and the other. Can I tell you something, ladies and gentlemen? That is the epitome of a hypocrisy. And that has become the institution. It's become institutionalized, become the substratum, the foundation of religion, especially Christianity, because you are not allowed to be real, to be honest, to be open, to be truthful, to be authentic, because we have placed all of these imaginary rules and regulations, legalisms and dogmas on how you should and should not act, who you should and should not be, how you should carry yourself and how you should not carry yourself, what you should enjoy and what you should refrain from, what's allowed and what's not allowed. And so you got this long laid out rule book that has absolutely nothing to do with God. I'll say it again. It has absolutely nothing to do with God. I will say it one more time for the people sitting in the back. That has absolutely, positively nothing to do with God. It simply has to do with men and their thoughts, ideas, and concepts about God and about religion, and their efforts to be able to manipulate and control the parishioners that are adherents to that particular religious ideology. And so they impose these manipulative rules and regulations and constraints and will make you feel as though you are less than, that you are somehow immoral, that you are sinful, that you are wicked, and you are on your way to an imaginary hell if you do not follow all of their rules. And so, as a result, people began to live their life to please other people, to please the pastor and please the mother and please the deacons and please the other members of the church. And the pastor's living his life trying to please the people. He's not going to tell them the truth about what's really going on with him or her. Oh, absolutely not, because I'm the pastor, I'm the leader. And so I have to present myself in a certain light because I don't want people to think. But most people don't know you and could care less about you. Most people that don't even know you exist, they don't even know you're walking this earth, and they certainly don't care about what you choose to do or not. Whether you decide to wear jewelry or not, or dress or not, whether you decide to have a drink or not, whether you decide to have sex or not, whether you decide to get high or not, they really don't give a flip. And it doesn't affect anyone but you. It is your liberty, your freedom, your choice to choose what you want to do in your life. And if it aligns itself with your authentic truth, then so be it. Stop allowing the thoughts, perceptions, or your thoughts about the thoughts and perceptions of others to determine how you're going to live your life. Say it with me. It's my life. Come on, say it with me. It's my life. If I want to drink, then drink. If I want to sleep with this one or that one, then do it. If I want, y'all not saying nothing. I know I'm picking out the ones that I know that the religious people get real upset about. That's why I'm using those particular ones, okay? So if I want to have sex, then I'm going to have sex. If I want to drink, then I'm going to drink. If I want to cuss somebody out, then I'm going to cuss them out. You live in your truth. But for God's sake, don't allow what you do or not do be based upon what others might think of you. If you choose not to participate in something or not to do something, or you choose not to go a particular place or to behave in a certain manner, let it rise from within. Let it emerge from your own soul and your own determination, and not be based upon what someone may say or think or feel about what you are going to do. Am I telling you to be inconsiderate of the people that you are attached to, that you love and that love you, that are a part of your life? Absolutely not. But here is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the thing. Here is the thing. Here is the rub, if you will. Here is the rub. Your love for the persons that are a part of your life are reflected in what you desire to do. If you desire to do things that are going to be harmful to that person, then you have to ask yourself, do I authentically love them or not? There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Because love doesn't vaunt itself. It doesn't seek its own. It doesn't seek, love is always about considering the feelings of others, whether it is going to cause them harm or not. And note what I said, harm or not. I'm not talking about whether it's, they like it or not, whether it's going to cause them harm or not. And so love causes you to consider the people that you're connected to, that you love, that matter to you. But still, even in that, you are making the choice yourself to govern your actions based and your words based upon your love, and not because you're trying to fit into some imaginary guideline dreamed up by another person, not because you're becoming an actor in somebody else's script. I'm missing some comments. Let me go back up. Okay. Bridget says, my theory is that it's connected to some degree of our upbringing as well. We were raised to be, raised to be well behaved and not cause a disturbance, aka express yourself. What is well behaved? Don't even get me started on this one right here. What is it? But you're absolutely right, Bridget. What is well behaved? Well behaved always meant do what I say. Come on. Well behaved meant control. Do what I say. No liberty, no freedom, no expression, no, do what I tell you to do. And don't you ask me no questions. Now, maybe you didn't grow up like that. I grew up that way. You do what I say and you don't ask me no questions. You get to form your lip to ask because I said so. That's why. Got to explain myself to no child. Come on. You know it. And we were taught that it was disrespectful for a child to question their parent about anything. Why? Who decided that? Who decided that that was well behaved? And we are right. What it does is begin to program them to do what? To follow orders, to don't think for yourself, don't feel for yourself, just simply obey orders and do what you're told. And if you do that, you are well behaved. If you don't follow orders, if you don't do what you're told, then now you're a miscreant. Come on, take a deep breath and swallow that one. Okay? Yeah, it's all about trying to make them comfortable and feed their ego. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see what this one says. When I turned 40, my light bulb came on and I realized that I'm who I'm living for. I'm seeking approval from others and devaluing myself in return and constantly finding things wrong with myself, making me, let's finish it, unhappy. And not one time do these same people bother to ask me what I think about them. So get what I let it, guess what? I guess that's what you meant. So guess what? I let it go and turned it loose. Exactly. The people that you are so busy and so concerned about what they're going to think and how they're going to feel and how they're going to perceive you, most of the time, they're not even thinking about you. They're not even thinking about you at all. Could care less. You know, honestly, the thing that gets mistaken for care a lot of the time is gossip. People like to run their mouth. They get messy and nosy and they gossipy. And so they want to talk about it, but that don't mean that they care about the person. They will talk all day long. Especially if it's a person that's in the limelight, like, you know, someone who's a leader or a pastor or famous or anything. They will talk all day long. Do they give a flying flip about that person? Not at all. And so it's absolutely ludicrous for celebrities and leaders and people in general to live your life to try and garner the approval of people. I'm not trying to get anybody's approval except my own. I approve this message. I approve this life. I approve these events, these occurrences. They are mine. And your approval is not necessary. If you decide to give it to me, wonderful, praise God, hallelujah. We can be good friends. If not, oh well. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You have to live in your own truth and stop being so concerned about what folk think. Kayla says, yes, I was just talking about this today. See, well-behaved means don't embarrass me. Yeah. Well-behaved also is not thinking for yourself and being silent. Exactly. Stay in a child's place. Hush your mouth. Don't ask me no questions because I said so. You do what I say. Come on. And that carries right over into religion as well. Same thing. Preacher tell you, look, do you do what I say? Don't ask me no questions because I said so. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing to me. Come on. Control, manipulation, and then you carry it over into your relationships. And there's a dominant, and this is fostered by the confused ideology of religion as well about how relationships are supposed to work. And so there's the dominant and the submissive. And so, in religion, it's supposed to be the man who is the head of all things. And because I said so, woman, you do what I say. Don't ask me no questions. Don't argue with me. I'm the man in this house. But then sometimes the roles are reversed. And it's the woman who's like, don't ask, especially if there's a financial imbalance. Don't try and tell me. You don't tell me what to do. I pay the bills here. Hello? And so you start finding now you shrinking and conforming so that you can fit into not your world, but their world. You're not living in your authentic truth. You're not being yourself. You don't even feel free to really express who you are and to be expressive and creative and at liberty to do and be and feel. You feel like you have to tailor yourself so that I can be perceived in the right light. I don't want to make them mad. I don't want to make them upset. I don't want to make them dislike me. I don't want them to think I'm this way. I don't want them to disapprove. I don't want them to look down. I don't want them to be ashamed or embarrassed by me. So let me just make sure that I conform and I shrink and I fit into the narrative that they have written for me. And you become the actor in somebody else's play. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying to you? Okay? Kayla says, I was explaining this to a white coworker about the difference in our upbringing. Yeah, boy, I could spend a whole 2 hours talking about the differences in the cultural upbringing. Absolutely. Okay? Are used to always seek people's approval from them to like me, but a friend that you and I both know helped me a lot with loving myself. I don't need people's approval. Absolutely. Man, I struggled with that for a number, and sometimes I still do, for a number of years in my life because my father died when I was 3 years old. So I never got to know him and I didn't really have a father figure in my life. And then I grew up in a challenging set of circumstances in my life. And so I felt this, I always carried around this sense of rejection and abandonment. And I found myself going out of my way to try and make sure that people liked me. I needed for people to like me. I needed for them to think that I was a good guy. I needed for them to think that I was, important, that I was tolerable. And so I would put up with the worst abuses and the worst kinds of behaviors and betrayals and some of everything else because I didn't want to cut off those relationships because I needed to be liked. I would behave certain ways, do certain things, carry myself in a certain way, or not behave in a certain way, not do certain things, not say certain things, because I didn't want to be rejected. I didn't want that feeling of rejection and abandonment. And so if I would just go ahead and conform, then I could spare myself the pain of the rejection. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And I'm not blaming anybody else for that. That was on me. That was me internalizing the absence of my father and a whole lot of other things in my childhood, and therefore forming this particular trauma response. Y'all hear, oh goodness, this trauma response in order to garner what I felt like would be acceptance. Even if it wasn't full acceptance, at least you could tolerate me. Even if you didn't like me, you could tolerate me as long as I didn't rock the boat, as long as I didn't upset you or piss you off or upset the apple cart or throw off the equilibrium. And so I found it difficult to live in my authentic self, to be my true self, to walk in my own authenticity, because I was always afraid of what others might think or feel, and in what light I would be perceived. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? And I know so many people that struggle with that abandonment issues, rejection issues, and feeling like you have to conform and almost twist yourself like a pretzel in order to be able to garner just a little, not even acceptance, just tolerance. And that's unhealthy. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It is unhealthy when, in fact, most people don't even know you. They don't really want to know you. Look at that word, know. I'm not talking about aware of your presence, aware of your name. I mean, know you. Most people on this planet are not aware of your existence, and very few people that you are even around even know you. They don't know you. They simply know something about you. They know your name. They might know where you're from or where you went to school. They may know your profession, but they don't know you. And guess what? They don't care to know you. I know that's hard. I know that it's hard and harsh, but it's an absolute fact. They really don't care to know you. They say, how you doing as a courtesy. They don't really want to know how you're doing. They don't want to really know how you're feeling. They don't really want to know what you're thinking. They don't want to know. They really don't. Most people are too self-consumed and self-absorbed to be really concerned about what you're really thinking and feeling. So they're certainly not paying attention to your choices, decisions, and actions, as long as they don't affect them or it doesn't give them some fodder to be able to gossip about. They could care less. And so it's not only unhealthy, but it's foolish for you to tailor your life to the desires, thoughts, and those are all perceived. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. Hold on. But the desires, thoughts, and concerns of other people, and all of those are perceived. Let me stick that pin right there, because you really, just as they don't really know you, you really don't know them. So you are assuming that they're going to think a certain way, feel a certain way, that they're going to perceive you in a certain light, that they're going to think a certain way about you. You are assuming it. You are projecting your inner insecurity about whatever it is onto them and assuming that they're going to feel this way, or they're going to think this way, or they're going to perceive you in this way if you happen to choose to do or not, to say or not, or be or not those particular things. It is all your perception as well. You have to let go of the desire to meet anybody else's approval and simply be satisfied with living in your truth. Are you hearing what I'm saying? As children and as, unfortunately as parents, we impose that upon our children, and children become the victims of it. They live their life in a certain manner because most times their parents are trying to live vicariously through the child. And it's like, I don't want to let my mama down. I don't want to let my daddy down. I don't want to let my parents to see or think or feel or this, that, or the other. And so they have learned at an early age to pretend to be somebody who they aren't. And so they start pursuing careers that they really don't desire because they know that that's what you expect of them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Marry a certain person, behave a certain way, won't even be honest about their own sexuality if they happen to be homosexual or bisexual or feel transgender or whatever. They hide because mama and daddy have this expectation, and so I'm afraid to live in my authentic truth because a culture and environment has not been created that is conducive to that kind of liberty and freedom and honesty. A culture or an environment has been created where I am forced or feel forced to pretend to be someone that I'm not. We do it to each other culturally. You can say, you know how to play spades? No, I don't know. How you a black person and don't know how to play spades? What you mean you don't know how to play spades? Oh, you can't be black if you don't play spades. What you mean? Come on. Those cultural expectations. What you mean you can't dance? What you mean you have no rhythm? You know we all have rhythm. Trust me, I know a lot of black folk who have no rhythm. But you find yourself trying to live up to those cultural expectations. And so you want to make sure you talk a certain way. Why are you talking white? What is talking white? Come on. Why are you acting white? Black people don't act like that. And so you feel the pressure to conform and to try and reshape yourself to fit into that cultural norm. Because you don't want to be perceived as a sellout. Come on. Ooh, I struck a nerve right there. I know it did. She said, well, I sure made my presumptions earlier. I spoke to this lady in the lobby and she looked at me up and down. And yes, I said something under my breath. That's exactly the same. Exactly the same. And the thing is, we're all guilty of it. We are so concerned and we let our imaginations run wild and we start writing these narratives in our head. I know they thinking such and such and such. I know they probably think such. I know right now they probably saying this, that. You don't know anything. You are assuming all of that. I know you probably think I'm crazy, but let me just go ahead and do that. Come on. I don't care. I know they think so. They probably think this, that, and the other, but you think I care? Clearly you do, because you're spending energy writing a narrative about what you think they think. Ooh. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Okay, look, I've only gotten through this one. Come on, let me try and move past this one to the next one. Can we please? Okay, can we please? Let me move on. All right, here's the next one. Every single person you love will die, and so will you. Whew. What is the point of facing this truth? Every single person you know, every person you love will die, and so will you. There's a few points here. There's a few very poignant points here that we need to definitely pay attention to. Okay? Death, as we understand it, which is not really death, because death is really, our definition of death is really a misnomer. We don't really die, we just change forms. That's why I use the terms transition a lot of the time. People transition, they go from this three-dimensional form into a spirit form until they take on another form again, whether it's three-dimensional, four-dimensional, depending upon what dimension they happen to return to. Okay? But every single person that you love is going to die. Death is inevitable. Okay? You do not exist in this form forever. No one does. You are not going to be able to exist in this form forever. No one does. You know, it's like I heard Trevor Noah the other day on one of his little clips that he puts on Instagram talking about his grandmother who had transitioned. And the audience was like, he's like, no, it's not a bad thing. She's dead. But she was 96 years old. And he's like, people, they'll die at 96, 97. And, and people like, gone too soon. But how much longer were they supposed to live? I mean, as if, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this happened. You can't? Really? At 96, you can't believe that they actually finally transitioned? Of course. Death is inevitable. That transitional point, that ceasing to exist in this form is a path that we all will walk and experience. We all have several times before, and we will this time as well. So don't cling to this life as though it will never end, or with others as though it will never end. Which brings me to the next salient point, which is really the super point for this particular truth. Since we understand that every single person we love will eventually die or transition out of this form, and so will I, then treat the time that you have with the people you love as precious. Don't take it for granted that they'll always be there, that they'll always be around. Don't take it for granted that they'll never leave, that you'll always be able to have their presence, their voice, and others around. Treat that time as precious. I talk to young parents that I encounter from time to time, different places, and they have younger children, and they're maybe struggling with them and everything. I'm like, listen, cherish every moment of this time you have with your children at this age, because I promise you, it passes really, really fast. faster than you think. One day you are holding them in your arm and changing their diapers, and the next day you wake up and they're graduating from college and getting married and moving on with the rest of their life. It goes by almost in a blink of an eye. How many people in your life that you love, you say you love, and you haven't spoken to them in you don't know how long? You can't even remember the last time you talked to them, or the last time you saw them, or the last time that you told them that you loved them. It's important that you prioritize the time that you have with the people that you love, because eventually they're going to transition. So prioritize it, treat it as precious. Make the phone calls. I don't really like talking on the phone. Man, really? Get over yourself. Okay? Make the phone call, write the email, send the text, pay them a visit, spend the time, go to the movie, take a trip, have a meal, but don't just wait until it's too late and then you have missed those precious times together. How many of you have children right now or another loved one that you sincerely love, but you have no relationship? Maybe you've been bitter or angry or mad, or you fell out years ago and you don't even remember what it was about, but you still just haven't spoken. Don't you think that it's time to go ahead and mend those fences, to let that stuff go, to move forward, to embrace, to love, and to make precious the time that is now? You can't go back and do anything about what happened before. You can do something about what's happening right now, in the eternal moment of now, because now is all there is. Every single person you love will die. Every one of them, without exception. So it's up to you to decide to invest the time into building and creating memories and connection that remains long afterwards. And eventually you will too. This brings up the third one. You're not here in this three-dimensional plane forever. You came here with the purpose and the intent to be the vehicle through which all of everything is able to experience and express itself in three-dimensional form, in you, through you, as you. You came to experience life abundantly. So quit putting off for tomorrow what you can experience today. Don't deny yourself any of the experiences that you desire. It does not matter, as we talked about earlier, what anyone else thinks about it or how they feel about it. It does not matter how crazy and outlandish and insane it might seem. If it is something you desire to experience, then be courageous and step out into it and experience it. Whatever it might be. Whatever, on any level, in any area. No judgment, no condemnation. All things are lawful to you, even though everything may not be expedient. Well, how do you determine what's expedient or not? Simple. Does it align with your highest version of yourself? If it aligns with your highest version or vision of yourself, then go for it. And the only one who can determine that is you. It's you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I allow culture, religion, position and all of those things to prohibit me from doing and experiencing things that I was always curious about. And it's only been since I have consciously, intentionally made the decision to step away from those things that no longer serve me where religion is concerned, that I gave myself permission to begin to experience some things and do some things that I was always curious about. I just wanted to know what it felt like. I wanted to know what it was, how it would affect me, how I would mesh with it, how I would integrate this into my life. That's truly living. And you only have a millisecond. And I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like that. A brief breath of time in this form, in this iteration of life. So live it to the fullest. Go wherever it is you want to go. Do what you've always wanted to do. Experience what you've always wanted to experience. See the things you've always wanted to see. Be who you've always wanted to be. Take full advantage of the time that you have. It's your life. And it's not going to last forever in this form. You'll get another shot at it in another form, as you have many times before. But make the most out of this one. Make the most out of this one. There are no rules. Let me say it again. There are no rules except for those that you choose to be governed by. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That there are no rules except the ones that you choose to be governed by. And God is not offended. God is not upset. God is not angry, disappointed, let down, and all the other kind of crazy anthropomorphisms that we have tried to lay on at God's feet. No. The point of your existence in the earth is the experience. God experiencing it and expressing itself in you, through you, as you, and having as many experiences as it can possibly have through the multiple billions upon trillions of forms that have existed just in this plane of consciousness. We're not even talking about in other dimensions. Having all of these experiences simultaneously and absorbing them all. Don't rob yourself, as well as the all of everything, of having those unique experiences in you, through you, as you. Live. The worst thing that can ever happen is to die before you live. I'm going to say that again. The most tragic thing that can ever happen is for you to die before you live. It's been over an hour already. I'm like 5 minutes over, and we only got through 2. Good Lord, man, I gotta move fast. I gotta talk faster, huh? But I think it was a worthwhile conversation. Yeah, Kiwi, you coming in on the tail end, girl. We getting ready to go. Yeah, watch the replay. And if they happen to mute it on Facebook, which they shouldn't mute this one, but if they do, you can go to the website or you can go to YouTube and watch it in its entirety without any interruption. Gloria, I knew you were going to say that, Gloria. Gloria's like, do 2 hours. Oh, my goodness. But we're going to stop here. We're going to stop. Man, Sunday morning, 9. You know what I did last Sunday? I came on at 9:30. I was supposed to come on at 9. I didn't catch it until afterwards. I don't know how that happened. But anyway, this coming Sunday, we'll be on at 9 o'clock. I was supposed to be on at 9, and I came on at 9:30. Let me make sure I'm right about that. I think, I don't know, man. My internal clock is a little bit screwy right now. Yeah. 9. It's supposed to be 9 o'clock. So Sunday we'll be on at 9 a.m. sharp. And we're gonna move like a bullet train, because we're gonna get through more than just 2 on Sunday of these uncomfortable truths. Okay? We will definitely do that. All right. Again, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you need those 30. I see you, Trace. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. How's everybody doing with the 90 days of abundance? I kind of noticed a few. You kind of dropped out in the early morning meditation, but I hope that you are continuing and doing the meditation later in the day or at night. That you're not missing days. I really hope that you're staying with us. And even if you happen to miss a day, I hope you start it again and you're right back on the bandwagon with us. This is really, really important to revolutionize your life as you experience full abundance in the earth realm. So I really want to make sure that you are here. We are coming on every morning at 6:30 for our morning meditation. But if you do miss it in the morning, catch it on the replay. You won't be able to watch it on Facebook because they mute it. They mute that one every single time. But you can go to the YouTube channel or go over to the Emerge website. That's the best place. And all the videos are there so that you're able to definitely tune in and use it for a guide for your meditation throughout the day or at night before you go to bed. Don't miss this opportunity for 90 days of abundance. Also, make sure that you are looking for opportunities to give. I see you. Now, Delana, I know that the reason you come on late is because you're in a completely different time zone. I think you're over on the West Coast now, right? So you're like 3 hours behind us. So, but it's like 8:40 here. So it's about 6:40 there? No, 5:40. Almost 6 o'clock there. Yeah. All right. But yeah, just jump on, go to the website, go to YouTube. The YouTube channel is Emerge LEC. And of course, you already know what the website address is. I'll put it up anyway, just in case. Here's the web address. Go over to the website and click on the empowerment tab, and it'll take you right to all of the broadcasts and all of the meditations on there so that you're able to use that as a resource. Okay? But please don't give up on the 90 days of abundance. I want everybody to experience this abundance in your life. I want you to not only have an event of abundance, but to live a life of abundance. Look for opportunities to be generous. Look for opportunities to give. And I want to give you an opportunity right now to give as well. If you'd like to support me and this platform and the work that we are doing here, then you can certainly give and so in support of this work right now. Use the means that you see on your screen in front of you, either the Cashapp or Zelle, and give your most generous gift. Let it reflect how much you value what you're hearing and what you're learning from this particular platform. Your giving is a way of saying, I appreciate what you do and I value what I'm learning in this space. And so take advantage of this opportunity and do that tonight. In fact, go ahead and do it now while you got your phone or your device in your hand so you don't get busy and forget about it. Go ahead and take a moment right quick and sow your seed and give your offering or give your tithe, whatever it is that you decide to do. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate your love and your support. Let me see, it's happening. Oh, it's 7:40 there. Oh, you're in Central Time, so you're not completely on the West Coast. You're in the Central Time zone. Got it. Okay. So, but yeah, use the website, use YouTube, and you're able to get the replay. But make sure you tune in. It's been a great conversation. Thank you all. I appreciate your love and your support. Look forward to catching you in the morning for our morning meditation. And if I don't see you there, then I will see you on Sunday at 9 a.m. for our next empowerment session. You guys have an absolutely fantastic night and an even better weekend.